House to Home, presented by Remax Diamond Realty.
Hello, and for the first time in 3 Tuesdays, House to Home is back, baby. Liz, Gina, I missed you guys so very much. It's great to see you, and you both look absolutely stunning. So hello.
It's been too long.
I know.
Yep.
Well, I
You
was gonna
miss us, we miss you.
I know I miss you guys too. And but one thing I have missed is the shall I say the very holistic approach that you guys take to the business of real estate, not just as a transaction and not just of saying sign off on the contract, but you're part salesperson, you're part economist, you're part technical support, you're also part psychologist as it and maybe a case worker. And we're not being flippant about that point, but you see a lot of different scenarios from potential buyers and sellers and everything. And I would think like even some of the more emotional stories help you understand what the true nature of Guam's real estate market really is.
That's
Oh.
right. We were just talking about, receiving calls from people who have specific budgets. For example, if someone had a budget of 350,000 and the inability to find something that suits their taste and style. So when we get these calls, it breaks our heart, because you can hear the frustration in their voice. And what advice do we have for them? Right now, it's kind of, we look at MLS and we look at what is currently available in the market, and the property that may fit their budget may either be a fixer-upper or something located outside of the locations they would like. For example, if they want dead-a-dough and the only property that's available that fits that budget is an agate, how do you fix that? So there's a number of things that probably Gina and I would give in terms of advice is keep your eye on the market or save up a bit more in terms of a budget so that you can either use the extra money to repair a fixer-upper in an area that you would like, or raise the budget that you can afford. So there are different ways to look at it. But the newer homes are beautiful. Their price within the 500 price range, 600 price range, and it's way out of the budget of the regular person. I mean, this individual that called me says he's been on Guam for like 20 years and works hard, and he can't find a home that he'd be happy with. So he feels like
Gina,
it's got to be done.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that, Liz, and like anonymously, of course. But Gina, professionals like yourselves are not unsympathetic people, and you've said many times on this show you're not in the business of writing Hallmark cards, but at the same time you're still a human being, and you've got to feel for these people who, by virtue of just economics or what's going on in the world, they're ready to buy a house. They just can't at the moment. So the best advice you can give them is just like the brutal truth. Sometimes it's like you just might want to hang on, right?
Yeah. Yeah, the brutal truth. Yeah. And we don't like to just be flat out honest with these individuals that call, but I mean, I don't want to tell them what they want to hear, and then they have false illusion that somehow we can, as realtors, that we can make this happen for them. We can't. All we could do is be vigilant. I've got another family that I've been trying to help for 3 years, and what's happened with them is they were at a point when the interest rate was really low, where the interest rate was helping them, but the market was going up so fast we couldn't catch up in terms of trying to make, it was at that time multiple bid situation on lower priced homes. So it was just a catch-22. We can never catch up to the market. Now the interest rate has gone up so much that their budget's gone down, and we are still looking. We haven't given up, but the reality is, in a fixed market like this, where I can't just get in my car and decide I'm going to move to the next state over that's cheaper, really the only thing that could happen is at some point, and I keep saying this, but it's the truth, because there's nothing individual people can do or realtors can do. At some point, we need our government to step in and say, okay, this is a crisis. Not having decent, affordable housing, this doesn't just apply to homeless or low-income families that could qualify for habitat. This applies to our middle, our middle income, hardworking people. Like he told Liz, I work so hard. I've been saving up for so long. At what point can I catch up?
I'm tired of renting at this point. I get, I've wanted equity. I've bit the bullet for like,
Right.
what'd you say, Liz, 2 decades now? And he's like, and he goes, he would probably say, I appreciate, the honest and sincere feedback, but like, how much longer am I gonna have to like wait?
Well, plus now our rental market is going up so much that these families who can't afford to get
That's a
into
good
a
point.
home will also be outrented by somebody, by GURA, whose allowances have gone up so much that these middle working class families are going to, I mean, what are they going to be able to look at? If you go back to the history of Kaiser and Liguan and some of these subdivisions, you're going to see that actual government officials went out and they went out. I think with Kaiser, government officials went to Hawaii and actually petitioned and asked developers to come and build these housing units on Guam. I mean, maybe that's not possible anymore, but there really is a lot government could do at this point. Infrastructure.
Yeah.
Now go ahead, Liz.
But the government did help to some degree in terms of offering assistance for the down payment. But the biggest, so and of course, subject to funding availability. And even at that, I mean, they still have to find the right home within the right price range. So the affordability, the price range, just as Gina puts it, just went up awfully high, too fast, and the market dictates that. There's nothing realtors can do if the demand is there, inventory is low, and the prices start to go up because then the demand is there. It's beyond our control. It's it's the market. There's nothing we can do about it. But in this particular case, I think either they buy a fixer-upper and work on that, or save up a bit more so they can afford a bigger budget. But it would all work if we had more assistance in developers building affordable housing.
Well, perhaps two takeaways from this discussion, as you both like very beautifully like laid out. Like, one, the market will change at some point. So the conditions that we're currently facing, both micro and macro, are not going to be that way like until the end of time. So things will shift. And then also, you pick a realtor, and the best realtor you can have isn't necessarily going to tell you the information that you want to hear. They're going to tell you what really is, and that's when you've got a real good realtor like Liz and Gina, who are going to break it down for you, whether that's what you were expecting to hear or not. So ladies, that's another part of your remarkable responsibilities that you both do very, very well. So thank you for sharing that.
It's a painful
painful reality, right?
Yeah. And I know, Gina, you were having kind of like a headache on account of the rain and maybe some of the pollen lately, but hopefully this other stuff is a headache that won't last for too long.
No, it won't. We'll figure it out.
There you go. We'll figure it out. Okay, that's the theme. Okay, thank you, ladies.